Next up, I got a little bit of a hot take for you on this one, kind of. Next up, we've got Mayra Bueno Silva versus Wu Yanan, or Yanan Wu. I'm not sure which way to say it. Wu Yanan, maybe. Crazy odds on this one as well. Mayra Bueno Silva is at minus 450. Come back on Wu Yanan plus 375. So Bueno Silva is a huge favorite. I guess I do understand why, but I have some concerns. But let me talk about each fighter a little bit. Wu Yanan is not very good. She's not a super high-level fighter. If we pull up her record, if you follow me on Twitter, you probably already saw me talking about this because I was absolutely fascinated by Wu Yanan's pre-UFC record. So, before getting to the UFC, she fought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. She fought 12 times before getting into the UFC. One of those was a loss to Yana Kunitskaya. Obviously, Yana Kunitskaya was 8-2 at the time, it looks like. If we take out Yana Kunitskaya, we're left with 11 pre-UFC opponents. And those 11 pre-UFC opponents combined had, I believe, 7 pro fights. So again, going back to those 11, we're taking out Yana Kunitskaya, the 11 opponents that Wu Yanan fought before the UFC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them were making their pro debuts. 7 of them were 0-0. So, yeah, to talk about being a can crusher pre-UFC, I mean, she was fighting as low a level of competition as you can possibly face, really. I mean, taking on all of these MMA debutantes. 7 out of 11. And then when she fought Yana Kunitskaya, she got knocked out. So the one time she did step up in competition, it didn't go well. And then since coming into the UFC, she made her UFC debut against Gina Mazzani, lost by decision. Then armbarred Lauren Mueller, Princess Tiger, who Lauren Mueller's not very good, frankly. So that was her one win. And then she lost a split decision to Mizuki Inoue and lost a decision to Jocelyn Edwards. And so the fighters that she's losing to in the UFC are not very good either. They're not fighters who have very good UFC records. So I do understand sort of why the odds are where they are. So to look at Mayra Bueno Silva's UFC record, she got a ninja choke in 1 minute on the Contender Series. Then she beat Jillian Robertson by armbar, lost a decision to Marina Moroz, armbar against Mara Borello, a draw with Montana De La Rosa, and then her last fight, she lost a decision to Manon Fiorot. Here's where I have concerns about this fight, though. Mayra Bueno Silva showed in the fight against Manon Fiorot that she is willing to let a fight slip away from her without changing her game plan. Because overarchingly, how did that fight play out? It was Mayra Bueno Silva being the busier striker. She wasn't even throwing particularly damaging shots. She was using her speed, using her movement, using her volume to simply out-volume Mayra Bueno Silva. And Bueno Silva kept doing that thing where Manon Fiorot would lunge in, land several strikes, be back out of range again, and Bueno Silva would just shake her head. Nope. But Fiorot was getting out of there before Bueno Silva even had a chance to return fire. So even though you're shaking your head and saying, nope, you didn't get me, you didn't hurt me, well, yeah, but she did get you, and you didn't return fire. You didn't get anything back. And she never changed that game plan, really. The fight, she's getting out-volumed, she's getting outstruck, the fight is slipping away from her, and all she's doing is shaking her head and continuing to walk forward and not throw anything. Like I said, Wu Yanan is really not that good, but what she is pretty quick, pretty light on her feet, and she puts out a high volume of strikes. Could we see this fight play out in a way that Wu Yanan is simply bouncing on her toes, moving around, lunging in and out, landing strikes and getting out of range, and Mayra Bueno Silva is just sort of plodding ahead and shaking her head and not throwing anything? Yeah, I can see the fight playing out that way. I would hope that Mayra Bueno Silva is going to look to push Wu Yanan against the cage here, wear on her that way. Bueno Silva is definitely going to be the more physical fighter. I think the stronger fighter. Wu Yanan isn't a particularly physical fighter. Bueno Silva is going to be more physical, but slower and not as agile. And I think she needs to close that distance, hold Wu Yanan, wear on her, put her weight on her, take her down. But yeah, at those odds, considering you can get Wu Yanan for plus 375, and I don't know what Wu Yanan at decision is at. I don't think it was on my book yet, but man, if I can get a big number on Wu Yanan by decision, I will probably take it, because there is a world where this fight plays out similar to how the Manon-Fiorot fight plays out, with Wu Yanan just using her movement, lunging in and out, pot shotting, landing shots, and Mayra Bueno Silva just never changing the game plan and letting the fight slip away from her. So there you go. I don't like betting on Mayra Bueno Silva here. I don't like putting her in a parlay just because of the reasons that I just said. If I was going to bet this, I would bet Wu Yanan. I don't think Wu Yanan will potentially find a finish here. So if I was going to bet her, I would bet her by decision. I don't know what that number is at yet, but if that number does come out and I do bet it, I will make sure to put it on. I'll put it out on Twitter, and I will also put it on my betmma.tips. Whew, my throat's starting to hurt.